And to give us more perspective on this, we are joined by Mr. Ross Darrell Feingold, who's a political analyst. He's joining us live from Taiwan. Mr. Feingold, thank you very much indeed, sir, for taking time out and speaking to us here on WION. And let me ask your assessment about this statement made by Xi Jinping. It's not the first time that he's made a statement like this. It won't be the last one. He says that people on either side of the Taiwanese Strait are one family, and no one can stop this march towards reunification, as he puts it. In your assessment, how seriously does the Taiwanese leadership look at a statement like this from Beijing?
First, let me say Happy New Year to you and your audience. These kinds of statements from China are pretty standard stuff when it comes to cross-strait relations. They've said these things before. They've said that the two sides are one family. They've said that they want to peacefully reunify, and they've also said that they don't renounce the use of force. So these things are very standard. So to be very frank, most people here in Taiwan don't pay attention to statements by Chinese government officials about the relationship between China and Taiwan because they've heard it all before. Of course, the government or the military or the national security personnel here in Taiwan, of course, they will pay close attention to these kinds of speeches by Xi Jinping and try to decipher, is there anything new? Is there anything different? But generally speaking, the public here, it feels like we've heard it all before, and the public is just not going to let a speech on New Year's Eve day interrupt New Year's Eve festivities here.
Right, interesting. But what is also interesting is the reaction from Lai Ching-te, where he said that in times of peace, it is important for Taiwan to boost its defense capability so that it is open for any eventuality that could unfold. Now, for people in Taiwan who are looking at this rhetoric from Beijing, do they worry that there could be some kind of a military action for reunification, or do they expect that China may carry out some kind of a soft coup by trying to elect a government that is more friendly towards Beijing in Taipei? What's your assessment of this?
I think the public knows that all of the above are possibilities. Between 2008 and 2016, the president of Taiwan closer relationship with China, and the voters rejected that view. And in 2016, they elected Tsai Ing-wen from the Democratic Progressive Party. She was reelected in 2020. The interesting thing is that in 2024, Lai Ching-te won the presidential election, but he only won with 40%. The other 60% was split between two candidates from the opposition who favored a less contentious relationship with China. So these things do tend to ebb and flow. The voters' opinions on this kind of can change from election to election, which frankly is no different than any other democratic system. Voter opinions can change. They could elect the left, they could elect the right. They could elect someone who's more contentious with China, they could elect someone who's less contentious with China. So all of the above are all possibilities. But again, right. I think the key thing here is, and you touched on it, that the government and the military here and people in the business community, they need to be prepared for the possibility that China will use force.
Right. Now, the Americans who have a very close relationship with Taipei, especially backing the defense, they've put out a lot of these assessments that China may try to take over Taiwan anywhere from 2025 to 2027. And with the turn of a new year, we are in that year, 2025. How does this play on the minds of the people within Taiwan, considering that the United States of America has a change of guard there? Donald Trump is not a president who may perhaps go on a limb to protect another bit of a territory to retain its autonomy. America is already embroiled in Ukraine and also in the Gaza Strip. Do you think at this moment Taiwan is a little bit more vulnerable than what it would have been previously?
Well, my own view is Taiwan has consistently been vulnerable. That's why I say that the key stakeholders here in Taiwan, they need to prepare as if China is going to invade tomorrow, because if they don't prepare like that, they would lose the war when China does in the future invade. And when it comes to these different year propositions that China would invade in 2025 or 2027 or sometime after 2030, I don't think the public here in Taiwan pays much attention to that. Again, national security officials in Taiwan, they'll pay attention to that. But the public here in Taiwan, they're not really going to pay attention when some U.S. military official or some think tank scholar goes to Congress and suggests a specific year when China will invade Taiwan. I think the public here takes a bit of a boy who cried wolf kind of approach to those predictions.
Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Feingold, for joining us and getting us all those details there.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.